There's been a bit of a hoo-ha over the last week or so with Sekiro Shadows Die Twice being deemed too hard and people wanting the game to have an easy mode, so we thought we'd do what we do best. Weigh in and give our opinion before sneaking out the back door amid all the commotion. The topic at hand has two parts. 1. Is Sekiro too hard? And 2. Should Sekiro have an easy mode? Well, the first part is actually really easy to answer. It's no. Sekiro is not too hard. Now, we're not saying Sekiro isn't hard, mind you. It's as hard as nails, but for a game to be too hard, it has to be unfair. And for the most part, Sekiro is actually a really fair game. For instance, enemies have attack patterns you have to learn, whether that's Yumakiri countering a lunge or jumping over a sweep. As we said in our review, there's a rhythmic nature to Sekiro's combat, especially when parrying, and whenever you die, it's probably because you've done something wrong, i.e. been too greedy and tried to get in an extra hit, missed a telegraphed attack and been punished as a result. It's very rare that in Sekiro, and in most of From's games, that you actually die an unfair death. Sure, the camera isn't always ideal and the enemies sometimes clip through the environment, or you can get screwed over by the wonky lock-on system. These are usually the causes of an unfair death, but those occasions are very few and far between. Now, on to the biggie. Should Sekiro have an easy mode? Well, I can see both sides of the argument here. On the one side, there's the argument that Sekiro and Soulsborne games are actually so enticing to many because of that difficulty, and because no other game can match the satisfaction you get from beating the game's bosses. They genuinely feel like a journey. One minute you're an imbecile who gets smashed by Lady Butterfly or General Geneshiro, and the next minute you're deflecting every single one of their attacks, filling their posture bar and performing an epic shinobi execution. I say 1 minute, but what I mean for most of us is hours later. The satisfaction that comes from overcoming what seemed like the impossible to become legend, in my opinion, is unmatched in video games. Players who have beaten the Nameless King from Dark Souls 3 will always remember that moment they finished him, and the same could be said for General Geneshiro, Lady Butterfly, et al. Does anybody even remember the time that they beat the final boss from Borderlands? Heck, we couldn't even remember what he looked like during a discussion in the office last week. I will never forget though what General Geneshiro looks like, the bastard. Then, on the other hand, Sekiro is such a beautiful game, chock full of wonder and mystery. Why should there be a barrier to entry for so many people? And by barrier to entry, I mean across the board. Whether you have a disability or don't have the time to learn the nuances of the game because you have a family or real-life commitments, or you just don't possess the requisite reflexes required to get through the game. And let me tell you, you really do need quick reflexes to be successful in Sekiro. I don't understand how adding one option in a game changes how difficult and satisfying it can be for you. Bayonetta, for instance, had a one-button mode, Devil May Cry 3 had an easy mode if you died 3 times, and Ninja Gaiden Black introduced Ninja Dog mode, a super easy mode for players, but no one kicked up a fuss over that. Those are 3 notoriously difficult games with what are effectively super easy modes that did not detract from the experience for those who wanted to test themselves. Why should Sekiro be any different? There's been the suggestion that having the option of an easy mode might persuade players to give up when times get tough and just select a lower difficulty option, thus negating the journey from noob to Sekiro god. I'm sorry, but that is utter bollocks. For one, that doesn't give people enough credit, suggesting that they'd cave at the first instance the game gets a bit tricky. I'm actually too bloody stubborn to do that in any game, let alone a From Software game. Secondly, the vast majority of games have difficulty settings these days. And thirdly, it's not all about you. How do the experiences of somebody else playing a single player game affect you as a person? Nothing has been taken away from the game for the people who like the challenge if an easy mode is added. But Sekiro is all about the challenge. These people won't get the same out of it without that. I get that, I really do. But what about the people who just want to see the incredible enemy design and the fantastically realised environments, who want to experience Fountainhead Palace with their own eyes? What's wrong with letting those people do that? Also, opening up the game to a wider audience, enabling From Software to garner more sales, meaning they can make more games, better games. How can hardcore fans not want that? Sure, half the lure of From Software games is the challenge, but not everyone is wired the same. Not everyone demands the same kind of experience from a game, and as long as it doesn't change your experience, why should it matter? The truth is, video game development is a business, and the more successful a product, the more chance that studio has in existing and creating similar experiences and much better games. And that's going to be even more possible when you have a larger audience. So, is Sekiro too hard? No. Should it have an easy mode? Why the hell not? It wouldn't take anything away from my enjoyment of the game, and it shouldn't take anything away from yours. That said, one argument that seems to pass people by is that Sekiro is From Software's game. It is the studio's artistic vision and the result of a lot of years of hard work. And at the end of the day, it's entirely up to From what it does with its game, and people should definitely respect that. Should they choose to put an easy mode in? Great, that's their call, just as the case is if they decide not to. It's ultimately From Software's decision. People are quick to forget that. And that's the end of that chapter.